What's up, everybody? This is Team B with your host Brandon, along with me, Bill Mack here, and this is Team B Presents, and we hope you enjoy the show.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of the Team B Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Bullet B, along with my co-host Bill Mack, and while you're here, friends, we're going to give you the WWE RAW review and general news in WWE, Lucha Underground, TNA, whatever the case, whatever comes to mind. We're just two regular guys. We have just a regular conversation, and we talk about Raw within it and give our general thoughts. And we're going to talk about WrestleMania coming up, et cetera, et cetera. But in the meantime, friends, we're just, it's a top-up philosophy with us, and we're just trying to grow like grass. So if you would, hit that subscribe button and help the grass grow, help us out. We do this every week. Stick with us. You want all the news in WWE? You got it right here. You don't even have to watch Raw anymore. We try to be similar to Wrestling Soup, Don Tony, Kevin Castle Show, and Solid Monster. He's like our mentor. We never be that good. We tried. Okay? It's a two-way podcast, so we can't be solo. But we try to do a good, Team B effort, and appreciate you guys tuning in. But I'm sorry this episode is kind of late in the week, ladies and gentlemen, but the truth is Raw was so fucking just like nothing happened on there, and I was just kind of I didn't have nothing to say about Raw really. The only thing I remember from Raw is the Vince McMahon promo, and to be fair, I think Vince McMahon he's the only one that cares about this storyline. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, everybody's happy to see Shane. Oh, big deal. But Vince is the one carrying the promos. He's like, yeah, I'll disown you and you'll be a son of a bitch. And this past Monday night, they added another stipulation to the Shane versus Taker match, and that is if Taker loses, it will be his last WrestleMania. And I'm like, they didn't have to add that stipulation. I mean, that kind of makes you think like, oh shit, who's going to win? I'll give them that, but it doesn't make any sense in the storyline. I'll tell you why in a second, but I don't think they had to add that stipulation this late into it. They could have just left it like it was. They already had a good stipulation to it. But I've been saying for the past couple of years, since Taker lost the streak, to put his career on the line, and that'll make it more interesting. But the reason it don't make any sense is because if Shane McMahon wins the match and Undertaker's fired, quote, he could just reinstate Undertaker. All he's got to say this Monday on Raw is, hey, Undertaker, if I beat you and I become the Raw GM or the WWE executive chairman, I'll just hire you back. That's all he's got to do. Right? And then if Taker wins the match, people will be like, yay, Undertaker don't have to retire, but Raw's still going to suck. So it just don't make any sense. Shane wins. He can just say, well, hey, buddy, I hire you right back. If Triple H keeps the title, what happens to Triple H if Shane wins the match? Because Triple H can come up. Well, this is where this is how I would do it. Triple H come to the ring and be like, hey, I'm still the world champion. You can't fire me. And Shane be like, oh, yes, I can. You're fired. And we're going to have a tournament to determine the real champion or whatever, the new champion, if you will. But that's all I got to do is just be like, well, we're going to strip you from the title, or yeah, you won the title, so we'll keep you until you lose the title. I don't know. It's just stupid because Shane wins the match. What happens to Triple H? So I'm assuming Triple H is going to lose the title. Okay, Shane wins, and all he's got to do is reinstate the Undertaker. That's what I would do. That's a good way to get out of this tight situation they put themselves in for lack of a main event. That's all they got to do. You just be like, well, hell, I'll just hire him back. Shit. They should have saved that for next year. Because remember, ladies and gentlemen, Texas is Undertaker's home state. You think he wants to lose in his home state? That's another thing. So it's just a headache to think about. They didn't have to add that stipulation, in my opinion. But Raw, I mean, the main event of Raw was Dean Ambrose. Not trying to skip ahead. We just call it as we go. Dean Ambrose and Braun Strowman was the main event. I was like, really? So it's just painful to watch, but and sad. And then Luke Harper, one of the Wyatt members got injured in that match, because after the Strowman Ambrose match, they had a dark match on Raw with the Wyatt family versus Dean Ambrose and a few others, and one of the Wyatt family members got injured. I think it was it Luke Harper, the one with the black hair, the crazy one. Yeah, he got hurt there. So that was my general thoughts about Raw. We'll get into it here in a second, but that's just how I felt like it was a filler show. Like I could just tell within the first 30 minutes. I said, this is one of them Raws we're just trying to get to the next week. And ladies and gentlemen, I would never want to give you a podcast where we're just trying to fill in the gaps and just doing a show for filler to get to the next week. I never want to feel like I want to do that kind of show for you guys. That's why the show's coming in so late in the week, because I was like, I don't want to give our listeners a filler show, you know. And I said, maybe Bill's got his own thoughts about it and stuff. So we just don't do what we do and try to make the best of one of the worst Raws of the year, in my opinion. And a fucking tie in to WrestleMania Go Home Raw. I mean, it wasn't the Go Home Raw, but I think 2 weeks before WrestleMania is when you need to have everything, you know, lockdown for the show coming up. That's when you need to have all the matches announced, all the storylines, you know, at their peak for WrestleMania, not a week before WrestleMania, you know. And they just added a bunch of stuff. The Intercontinental ladder match, I'm not too happy about that. They got it backwards. It should have been the U.S. title in a ladder match. That way we can get Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in a singles match. But I know what Vince was thinking. He's like, well, people don't know Sami Zayn and Kalisto and Ryback. That sounds more interesting to a general audience there. Ryback and a big guy and a little guy. You know, that sounds more that's more flattering and, you know, more interesting to kids and stuff. That's what Vince was thinking. Nobody knows NXT. Just put Kalisto and Ryback. People rather see that. But he's wrong about that, because WrestleMania has all the smart fans in the crowd, and it wouldn't have hurt, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So how'd you feel about Raw?
Well, I'm sure a lot of the same opinions you do about it. I feel like it wasn't it when you get down to the last 2 to 3 Raws before WrestleMania, you're supposed to feel excited and anxious, and just, I mean, even though WWE hasn't been with pay-per-views the last few years compared to the Attitude Era, but if it usually, when it's WrestleMania more than anything, that's supposed to create, as we talked about, nostalgia itself in its own mystique itself, and ready for some surprises to happen. I just feel like this Raw, and I feel like you do, there was nothing in it, even though there was some stipulations, some matches made. It didn't really pique my interest whatsoever when it came to wanting to watch WrestleMania. Now, you know, we get a chance to watch WrestleMania, we will. But there was nothing that made me feel any different or more anxious to watch it after watching Raw than there was before. You know, it was they failed.
Filler.
Yeah, it was a bunch of stipulations, and I understand. But to me, I felt like all these injuries really hurt them badly than what they feel like. Because to me, this whole Shane and throwing this Undertaker in at the last minute, that it's his last, could be his last WrestleMania. If he loses, that to me is just a lot of extra garbage to fill the space of, because you don't have the superstar power in matches. Just think about it. If Randy Orton, Seth Rollins, John Cena, Cesaro, those guys are out, there's you 2 matches. Even if you were put each other against each other, there's 2 extra big matches you have by guys that can get crowd response that you don't have. So now you're calling Shane out, 45 years old, ain't wrestled, been in the ring 7-8 years, ain't been in WWE since that amount of time. But then you have them going and lands. I don't know if you listen to it, but the crowd booed the crap out of Roman Reigns. And remember, this was the Philadelphia crowd that booed him at I think it was the Royal Rumble last year when he got booed the crap out of. When they should know, when you go to Philadelphia, that's going to be a hard place. And him coming in and acting like they're trying to be bad and all, and really didn't see much of him the whole night. Other than that,
you know what they were doing? They were keeping him backstage. Remember, he was waiting on Triple H and Steph in the car. Yeah. They kept him backstage to keep from getting booed so bad. But what's that tell you about your baby face? You got to hide him in the back. You know?
You're not listening to the WWE universe. You're not listening to the audience. They don't want to see this good guy Reigns. They want to see. They want to boo him. Give them a reason to boo him. Have him turn. You know, even if he was to lose the title or something and turn heel the next night on Raw, which you and I had our discussion, and I had wrote in a topic before. I think we talked about I wrote in. You know what it was I wrote to Aaron Riff, and I said, well, what do you think if The Rock was supposed to go in there and try to help Roman Reigns if he was to lose or win, and he turn on The Rock and them, and that would make him instant heel, but I just feel like these Raws really haven't made me interested, and that's a sad thing because when I want to see it in WrestleMania, that's that big one event I don't see the whole year. It's like when you watch the commercials on the Super Bowl and they suck. You know, everybody loves the Super Bowl commercials, and when they're good, they're funny. The next day you can remember them and talk about them, but when you wait all this time and then they suck, and then you're like, well, this is going. You can kind of hope Super Bowl won't suck because these things leading up to it really haven't been fun for me to watch. That's kind of like
Super Bowl
Raws. You don't want to. You want these Raws to mean something, but it's just a bunch of garbage that they've gathered together because they don't have the four guys I just named off, plus some other ones like you said just got hurt. With a Harper getting hurt, Strowman getting punched in the face by the fan. And after Raw's dark match, you're losing guys left and right here, and you're losing prestige. So I just feel my feelings is this Raw as we get into it. I mean, couple good matches. There was couple good matches that I actually did like. But as far as all, man, I share your opinion. I just think it sucked, and there just really wasn't a whole captivating.
Well, see, the thing is, I know that it still felt like a filler show to me. I know they made a lot of announcements as far as matches goes, but I feel like WWE was slow to catch on because we were talking about the IC ladder match a few weeks ago and stuff, but we read the dirt sheets and all the insider stuff. So when WWE finally announces the match, we're like, damn, they're behind 2 weeks. Oh, wait, it's a storyline. They're supposed to announce it this way. But I was just laughing about that. I was like, man, we've known this for weeks. And, but the thing is, the Super Bowl, though, the commercials with the Super Bowl, you can go on YouTube and watch all Super Bowl commercials, playlists, and stuff like that. They do really good. Back in 2000, I think it was, 99 or 2000, WWF had a WrestleMania commercial during the Super Bowl. And I know it cost them a lot of money, but that was a nice commercial. It's up in there. But, man, it's just they add this shit late, and it's just crazy to me. I don't even want to give them the benefit of the doubt for this Mania. Just because they got everybody injured. I was trying to give them a little bit of credit for that, you know, not be so tough on them, but they had the matches set a few weeks ago, the 3 main events, and the story build up has been very poor in my opinion. They're adding stipulations at the last minute, and it just feels like a last minute thing. But now we all know this is how I feel. I think WrestleMania is going to be a great show because the past couple Manias have been really good. Pay-per-views are usually good. The storyline's not so much, but the actual in-ring combat, if you will, is usually pretty good because WrestleMania 31 didn't have a strong build-up. Better than this one, but the matches and the quality was good, you know. So we could look forward to that, ladies and gentlemen, the matches being good. And I think it's going to be an awesome pay-per-view, but the storylines are just kind of fucked up. But the actual wrestling, I think the ladder match is going to be good. The 3 main events will be good. We know Shane's going to jump off the cage or something, off the cell, break his back in two and land on the Undertaker and maybe pin him that way. And like, well, don't worry about it. I'll just hire you back tomorrow, you know. But overall, WrestleMania is going to be a good show. The wrestling will be good. You just got to deal with these last minute storylines because you can tell it ain't the wrestlers' fault. They put on these good shows and shit, and they be like, "Hey, don't blame us, blame Vince. We'll tell us what to do, and we'll give you a good match. We're giving you a good match, you know, even though you just added a stipulation on fucking SmackDown. We'll still give you a good match, you know.
Right.
Earn that paycheck, you know. Ryback wanting payback from Payback pay-per-view. Yeah.
Oh, man. It's horrible.
I think that the Divas storyline's been pretty decent. They've been sticking with it just because it's already been, you know, it's been planted for a while. So that's how a storyline should be. It should be a couple of months of build up, whatever the case. And you know, like Brock and Bray Wyatt would have been a good 2-month build up, but they changed plans. And I agree with that. I think Dean Ambrose and Brock's going to throw it down. I just think Mick Foley and what's his name? Terry Funk. Terry Funk dyed his hair and everything, man, because Terry Funk's in his late 70s, dude. Because he retired. He retired in 1998 or 99 on that DVD documentary, wrestling documentary. I'll think of it in a second. Beyond the Ring or Beyond the Mat or something like that?
Usually Beyond the Mat.
Yeah, because they had Terry Funk talking about he's going to retire and all this other stuff. He was in his mid-60s at that point.
Right.
Here it is 15 years later. He's still out there. He can't leave it. He had a match with Jerry Lawler last year in Memphis, under the table match, you know, about a year ago. So he can't leave it alone. But my point was, you know, give all these toys to Shane McMahon. What's Shane McMahon? Shane McMahon needs a weapon. He's going up against The Undertaker. He's going to come out there with a taser weapon. That's what he needs, like a taser gun. You know how they tase Goldberg? He needs to tase The Undertaker like that. Right when Undertaker's making his entrance, let Taker come out first, and Shane McMahon sneak up behind him and tase him, man. That'd be so funny, man. Especially Undertaker trying to sell it. Undertaker's on Raw, man. He look like he's about 3 weeks dead. He's starting to look like the dead man for real.
Oh, it was. It's just
saying he got a worse spray-on tan than Donald Trump. I'm like, no, Donald Trump's tan is a little bit worse than Taker's. That orange wig and that orange complexion.
Well, he let the hair grow back out. I mean,
yeah. With his bald spot, but starting to be there like HBK. I noticed that. You know,
yeah,
that old mohawk he had, man. He should just kept it like that because he just looked like a freak. You know, and he's fighting Triple H and Brock, and he had he was more lean at the time, and he had the mohawk going on, and they should have left it like that.
Yeah,
but, just going back to who he was and everything, but kind of looks like Biker Taker, but with the hair and stuff like that. They should have him come out there on a motorcycle, be a bully again. Say what again if you sleep with your sister? Type of Undertaker. You know, that was hilarious. The bully Undertaker, that would be funny to see going up against Shane back and forth promo-wise. Instead of Undertaker being like, well, I ain't doing it for you. I ain't doing it for you. I just need an opponent for WrestleMania, to be honest with you. That's what he should say. He might as well just say, well, I needed an opponent for WrestleMania. Because Undertaker still has not gave us a reason.
Right.
Why would he agree to this? You know, why did he agree to it? Because he needed a match for Mania. Why don't you just tell us that? Well, I ain't doing it for you or nobody. I just need an opponent for WrestleMania. That's all. Just need somebody to fight. That's all. WrestleMania paycheck, man. Exactly. I'm just doing this to have a match.
Well, I know, man. It just seems so thrown together, putting that Undertaker stuff, because it's like week after week there's something extra added to it. But when you wanted to know, usually the month before, you already know the stipulations, and they've talked about it for a month. But when they sit there and say, oh, no, now it's Undertaker's career, it's like you're forcing the Undertaker to do this. And Undertaker's never been forced in any WrestleMania match he's ever been in to fight somebody. You know, he's normally had a grudge or somebody's called him out. But as you notice, that wasn't the case with this WrestleMania. That's why I said it just kind of, you know, like you said, I'm hoping right along with you that they have good matches, because if not, it's really going to – it sucks to me reading it on paper. But like I said, I'll hold out hope, like you said, that maybe the matches will be quality matches when the pay-per-view happens. If that happens, hey, it's all good. But from on paper, you know, like I said, unless the 3 main events, I don't know how it's going to go. You know, I really don't.
Yeah, because nobody's taking this Taker, Shane McMahon storyline seriously. You know, you had people in the crowd laughing when all three of them was in the ring at the same time, including Vince. You had all three of them in the ring, and Michael Cole was doing his snorting, you know, like I said last week. And it's like nobody's taking that seriously. It's just, but everybody's excited about it at the same time, just for the match itself.
Right.
So there was no reason to add that career-ending stipulation, especially like, well, hell, Shane could just hire him back, you know.
Yeah, but why would you ask yourself, why would you go through the whole match and them fighting the stipulation and the smack they talk to hire him back? You know, that's kind of
because it's not personal between Shane and Undertaker. It's not personal. It's just business between them. So Shane could cut a promo Monday night and be like, well, hey, if I win the match, I have control of Raw and I'll reinstate the Undertaker. And Taker would be like, well, shit, man, I'll just lay down for you. Yeah.
Yeah, be like Finger Poke of Doom. But I just hope.
Or do him like David Flair and beat his ass in the bathroom. You know, that was funny. What's it going to be, Flair? I don't really care who I got to beat up. You know?
Oh, I know, man. When that I don't know what pay-per-view was that when the Undertaker just demolished Ric Flair. Ric Flair didn't get no offense. I mean, he just
WrestleMania 18, 2002. But that's because they were building up Flair as a retired wrestler during that short, because he was he was the co-owner of WWE, and then he had to step in the ring with Undertaker because Undertaker kept challenging him every week. He's like, "Who I got to beat up next week to get you to accept this match at WrestleMania?" And they were trying to build up Flair as a guy that was kind of retired anyway, but he was stepping out of retirement to have a match. That's why he got beat up so bad in that Taker match. Then he had Arn Anderson come out there at the end of it and try to interfere and stuff like that. And then about a year or two later, you got Ric Flair in Evolution as the manager, and then he just became an active wrestler for the next few years, tag teaming with Carlito and stuff. So they kind of ignored that he was a retired wrestler coming back. But that 1 year, they were trying to build it as, you know, Ric Flair don't wrestle no more. He's just he's just a manager and blah, blah, blah. That's why he got his ass handed to him like that, you know, because he was a, quote, retired wrestler, you know. And then a couple of years later, he's wrestling every week with Carlito, you know.
Yeah, I just did. I remember that. And I'm like, when I watched that happen, I'm like, why in this world should he I mean, to me, I understood why. It just seemed like it was a big waste to just watch Flair get beat the whole match and with no offense. You know, that to me, I mean, I understood it, but it's just like you said, I mean, that's like taking a dog out there in the street and watch somebody beat it for 30 minutes. You know, you're like, somebody stop, but you know, I mean, it was like no offense at all, you know, and I just felt like that was a waste, even though I understood what it was for. I just felt like it was a waste to me that he was being beat.
Because you had Jim Ross on commentary saying, you know, Ric Flair's not an active wrestler no more. He's not an active wrestler no more. He's just doing what he has to do. He's just fighting for his family. It's the way they built it up, it's the way the match was booked. You know, Flair was retired supposedly, and it's just the way they booked it. But Flair, man, that was his last good run. The early 2000s, and then when he was tag teaming with Carlito, right before he had the retirement match with HBK, he was in good ring shape and all that. He was doing pretty good because Ric Flair was always credited as having a good body, a good work ethic, and all that stuff. And I thought he was in pretty good shape. Then again, I get used to seeing TNA Flair and Charlotte Flair's dad role now, that when you look back 10 years, you say, well, hell, Flair weren't that bad 10 years ago compared to now, you know.
But speaking of health, just to give you a tidbit update, Luke Harper is going to be out 5 to 6 months with that injury.
Okay.
They think he torn an ACL. So just didn't mean to cut in on you, but that's just what I just happened to pick up. That he's going to be out 5 to 6 months. So now, guess what that means? They're going to probably have to get another member of the Wyatt family in.
Well, I think 3 members is enough because it was usually 3 members anyway. And I think when they brought Luke Harper back the first time, I was like, now it's going to be 4. I'm like, well, they didn't want to let fire anybody, and you know, but it felt kind of bloated. But I got used to it though.
Yeah,
having 4 members in it, but 3 you can get away with because New Day doesn't, and League of Urinations 4 guys, and I like how the New Day suddenly turned babyface, you know, out of nowhere.
It was about time.
Yeah, yeah. But I kind of like that though because back in old school, you would have people turn to babyface just organically like that. It just happens, you know. So I kind of see why they did that.
Yeah,
you know, that's what you do. You put them in there with somebody that's a heel, and see who the fan gets behind, and that's how you turn somebody babyface, just like that.
But it's much easier, as you know, to be a heel than it is being a face. It's way much easier. You can get it's easier
WWE. You have to be over before you can be a babyface.
Yeah.
Okay, Roman Reigns, people. WWE corporate, you got to have your superstar over before you can be a babyface.
Right.
Now, yeah, he was over in the Shield, but he's not over no more, and he hasn't been over in the last year and a half.
Yep.
He's got to go heel, you know.
Exactly.
Now, they just got their mind set on keeping him a babyface. They're going to give him the happy ending at WrestleMania. I'm thinking The Rock's going to run out there or something to help him celebrate. So I really don't know what's going to happen there. I know Reigns is going to get the title. I'm pretty sure of that. But they might swerve us and have Triple H keep the title until the next pay-per-view. You know, drop it at Extreme Rules against somebody. I like to see a Triple H versus Seth Rollins match, maybe at SummerSlam or something whenever he comes back. But, yeah, Seth Rollins, Cesaro, Randy Orton, Cena, they're all, you know, injured. Randy Orton's coming back, I think, late next month, early May. Right. So that's a good thing. And Cena, man, they're talking about he's going to be out till July.
Yeah, that's terrible in its own right, man. Because he's been out for a while, and you know when he went to do that series, he comes back, then he gets hurt. You know, now he's kind of back at where he's at beforehand. You know when they're doing. He's
going to be gone almost a year. He's going to have almost a year off if you think about it. Because I think he left. It might have been right before Survivor Series or something when he dropped the belt to Alberto Del Rio.
Right.
Del Rio gave him that kick, and he pinned John Cena, and Cena was out for a couple months, you know, filming the show like you said, and just taking a break. Then he comes back, and I don't even think it was a month, and he got injured. He's not going to be back till late summer, I guess, and he's had over 6 months off if you combined all the months he was off. But, you know, Cena, he's getting old, man, because he used to be Superman and never get injured, nothing like that. And now all this wear and tear on his body's, you know, catching up with him.
Right.
You know, now he needs some legitimate time off to heal. And, you know, I think he needs time off anyway because they run guys into the ground in WWE. They don't care. They're like vampires. They get what they can out of you. No off season, nothing.
No.
Yeah, maybe Cena can get some sanity back in his head, have some time off.
Well, at least he had one come back because you know his girlfriend ain't coming back after WrestleMania. She's out. She's retiring officially from in ring after WrestleMania.
I didn't know that. I didn't know she was going to be gone for good. What, she got like a neck injury or something like that?
Well, what I was seeing was in here is it says that part of the reason was because she was let's see, it says part of the reason she wasn't was her decision to step away. She said that over the summer her and Daniel Bryan were wanting to start a family, so I guess they're just trying to settle down and be a couple. You know, they've wrestled. He's wrestled. You know, on Total Divas, I watched the episode when Daniel was trying to get the doctor to clear him at the time, and she was like, well, I do want a family, you know, and if it tells you can't wrestle, you're going to be able to, you know, settle down because I want to have a family. Well, it's saying here that what I'm seeing is that she's wanting to start a family, and part 2 is because of the health issues with Daniel Bryan, and that's caused her to want to kind of be more at home and away from that's why she's not been on lately, and it said that she's supposed to still be on Total Divas, but she won't no longer be a full-time wrestler after WrestleMania 32. So now,
I knew Brie was leaving shortly. I didn't know too much about Nikki. So Nikki's gonna leave too.
Nikki. I haven't saw much with Nikki. I know her surgery went well, and she's now trying to get in rehab where she can get back in the ring. I thought I read the other day that she just started back getting in the ring. So maybe that's a good sign up within the next month or two.
Yeah, but that'd be a good career for Brie Bella. Stay on Total Divas, not be an active wrestler, because she's pretty much established on Total Divas now. She don't have to wrestle anymore. She's pretty much established, and
that's what she wants. Her and Nikki were talking. You saw Nikki. You know, Nikki kind of wants to have a family with Cena and to be married and have a family. And
Cena talked her out of that, man. He programmed her mind. He's
and so you see that, but Brie more or less was telling Daniel, look, you know, we can settle down, have a family if this isn't going to work out. So this kind of was much easier for Brie to be able to step away since Daniel Bryan's health is going to be an issue. But like you said too, dude, he ain't got to necessarily not be with WWE. He could, if he wanted to, could be like a coach or something, or NXT and whatnot, and he wouldn't have to really go nowhere. But that falls again on what he wants to do and whether he's one that wants to completely step away from it and like CM Punk has, or whether he's someone that they want to make like an agent or somebody in the back to do it. So either way,
what you think about Lana going after Brie Bella? They gonna have a match at Mania?
Sad.
Pre-show.
That's gonna kind of just, it saddens me to know that Lana's actually going to have a match with him, with Brie, because I know Brie isn't the best worker, and I know Lana. I don't know how Lana is going to hold up because she's been training, but she hasn't really fought. You know, I'm more comfortable with like Charlotte or one of the other divas, even as crappy as they may be, to fight a match again rather than have Lana go out there, because you want at least somebody that can carry that match. And that's
scary though, man. Lana having her debut match at Mania. If that's the case, that's kind of scary because you know it's going to be a botch fest. She's going to be botching everything. You gonna put her on WrestleMania as her first match? What the fuck are you thinking, WWE? You know, that might be a pre-show match or something. There might be a multi-woman match. Who knows?
But you know, just think it could be worse. You could have Eva Marie wrestling at WrestleMania.
Oh man, they'd be booing her off NXT. But Eva Marie, well, she's more trained in wrestling than fucking Lana at this point.
Yeah, that's true. But she botches, you know, worse too. And you know what they're constantly.
Well, they could put Eva and Lana as a tag team, call them Team Boo. You know. Dolph Ziggler, I can't think my new teammate here. We call Team Boo. Why you call Team Boo? Well, just listen. Shut your mouth and listen. Boo. You know.
I know, man.
Just shut your mouth and listen.
She's great to look at, but she is just horrible to want to have to watch on, on screen. It really is. I did not want to see Lana wrestle. I mean, I still haven't seen her wrestle. You know, that's the scary thing is I've not seen her wrestle yet. So it's going to.
Oh, dude, they had I think it was this past Monday. They had Fandango fight Chris Jericho. I said, "Shit, Fandango, where the fuck's he been at?" They're talking about he's the man that defeated Chris Jericho a couple of years ago, which is true. But I was like, man, where's he been at? You know, and they go put Zack Ryder in the ladder match. I'm like, well, that's nice of him.
Kevin Owens was talking about that neither one of them is in this 6-man title match that should be champion. Shouldn't even be facing me. I'm like, wow, way to squat. Well, see, you know, Zack Ryder.
He's right about half of them.
Zack Ryder got in because, you know, Neville got hurt, and that was Neville's spot. So that's the only way to Long Island IC. This is what his nickname is, I think.
Long Island IZ. Zack Ryder. Woo, woo, woo. You know it. Let's turn him into a heel, dude, because I don't think you should give up on a superstar until you at least turn him heel and see what happens. Because look at the New Day, for example. Turn Zack Ryder heel and have him say, boo, boo, boo. You know it, you know. Have him like a bitter John Cena fanboy character, you know. Oh, I hate John Cena. I hate John Cena. They did what?
They tried. Remember they were doing that with, what was it? Who was it? Because I missed that era of wrestling when it was.
Yeah, but Zack Ryder was a babyface at that point, and they never turned him heel. He could have easily turned on, because Cena pretty much cost him Eve Torres and everything, and Zack Ryder could have turned heel on Cena, could have attacked him with the chair and said, "Screw this, man," you know. But they didn't do nothing with it. They just sent his ass back to the main event show that comes on, or Superstars.
So yeah, man. But Raw was just something else, you know. Stephanie come out there, of course, and Lord, you know, the same thing, dude. When it come on there, you just know that it was either going to be something with Stephanie or something with Roman Reigns come out. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. First thing out there, Stephanie come out there and they boo her, and then, you know, it was just horrible. You know it was going to be horrible, even though she's booing because they don't like her. Roman Reigns, because that's her character. Roman boos because they really legitimately don't like Roman Reigns.
Yeah, he's not getting the good kind of heat. He's not a heel, and it's just not looking too good there. They're going to have to do something with Roman Reigns there.
But
they keep him babyface, man. It's not going to be as 50-50 like with Cena 10 years ago. You're just going to have like 75% booing Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I hear for a couple people cheering for him, and you hear them. Just, well, too, it depends on where he's at, because there was one place I failed to see where it was at, remember where it was at. He actually got cheered a lot. And
yeah.
I know, like in Chicago and Philadelphia, don't go there. Or Brooklyn, don't go there. They will boo you out the building.
Yeah, or he'll go to certain towns or cities where they just don't care. It's like they won't boo him, but they won't cheer him either. The only place he gets cheered is SmackDown. That's because of the audio fix.
Yeah, pop in that them cheers and stuff. They edited in. But yeah, man,
everybody's mouth closed. All the fans got their mouth closed, and you hear, "Yay, cheer!" I'm like, "How's that happen? They doing that with their mouths closed?" Damn.
I know. Yeah, but it is like on Raw, man. You know, he goes out there and he's talking to Stephanie, and he's like, "Well, you know what? Triple H isn't out here because I want to whip his ass all over the thing," and the crowd was booing him. Now. He's the baby face. He whipped up on Triple H, and they're the ones, you know. And he said that all responsibilities. He says he's not there because he has corporate responsibilities to do, and you know. And then Stephanie's going back, and you know, she says, "Well, this shows why you're never going to be the champion because you lack intellect." And then she said, "Why else would you risk your championship match at WrestleMania and all this stuff?" Because he jumped on Triple H and stuff, and people need to understand the big picture. So, because she and her husband, she said, were a success, and they can buy each and every one of the people in the crowd, which that's going to draw heat because they're like, you're poor. And then Roman Reigns' music hits, and he comes out to it says thunderous boos. That's what it was. Listening, thunderous boos from the hostile Philadelphia crowd as he comes from the stage. Yeah, he's from the stage now. I did hear a tidbit on that. Don't want to go off track. Tidbit is I hear that I don't know if you heard it, but they're supposed to be working on possibly new ring attire for Roman Reigns for WrestleMania. Did you hear anything about that?
Yeah, I heard about that, and the reason he's coming in from the entrance ramp now is because I think they're prepping him up to hold the title. I think that's why they got him coming in through that way. I know it's probably unsafe for him to come through the crowd, but I think they changed his entrance to prep him up for the title.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what that was about. But yeah, they should, man, just change him up a little bit and have him evolve, like that.
Right. That's I hope they give him a good attire that he can wear. I don't want nothing with the Shield. Look,
right.
That because everybody now has their own look. Rollins and both Ambrose And I like Ambrose's. I know it ain't traditional attire, but he's got that street rugged look that, you know,
it fits him.
Yeah.
But see, The Rock, when The Rock left the Nation of Domination, he kept the same theme music, but they spun it a little bit. They changed the beat a little bit. They kept the same beat, but they kind of remixed it some. And with Roman Reigns and the Shield theme, it's exactly the same thing, except for the intro part where you got the guys on the radio. Oh, Shield, burn out, burn out, burn out. You know, they don't have that anymore. But The Rock and the Nation, man, they kind of, you know, used the Nation Dominations theme. They kind of evolved from that theme into The Rock's theme, and I thought it was great, you know. But poor old Fandango got interrupted, you know, by AJ Styles. And to be fair, WWE, that's another storyline they kept going pretty good. As far as being normal goes, is AJ Styles and Chris Jericho. And Jericho, he's been your typical heel. He's pretty good at that.
Right.
He's really good at that, and they got that going. And AJ Styles came out there and finally talked some, and they're going to have their match at Mania. That one's got a pretty good build to it, I think. And let me see.
But you know, it's bad though, man, because remember, and you're talking about Raw. It was AJ Styles Jericho was trying to get him to chant AJ Styles, and the crowd wasn't even doing it. You know, I was like, how pitiful is that when the good guy can't even get cheered? I blame
my favorite part. Oh, right quick. This only gonna take a sec. My favorite part from Raw was when they were trying to build up the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and they had Big Show out there cutting a promo, and then Kane comes out there, and Kane choke slams Big Show from the top rope, and Big Show was very emotional during his promo. He said, "No, Kane, why?" And he choke slammed him. That was probably the best part. Kane, no. So funny, man.
I'm crying in the ring, man. But it's about his time.
He's letting Kane beat him up. He's like, "Kane, stop."
It is funny though, man. But it's just that's the reactions you get, man. It was just a stale promo, and the crowd was dead. They just need to mark these crowds off and try different either areas or something. And because when they go to them, the crowds are bad. Why would you keep going back to dead crowds? You know, I mean, find other places to go. But Roman came out there and he was talking to her, and he said, "Now Stephanie's like, oh, you're going to pick on me now. Oh, you're going to try to intimidate me now because you heard my husband was going to be here." And, you know, he took the microphone from her and he says, "No, I'm the authority." And he takes and throws the mic and he walks back off. So, but that Jericho.
Man, that was so lame, dude. I was like, really?
But the Jericho, but like you were saying, catching up with that, the AJ Styles and Kevin Owens match, that was one of my favorite matches of the night, or highlights of the night, was the AJ Styles and Kevin Owens. Even though they got this stuff with Jericho and AJ going, I'm going to like this feud, even though they've done it on SmackDown and Raw. If you watch Raw and watch SmackDown, they did the same ending where Chris Jericho,
I heard about that.
Both times interfered in the match. I'm like, that is so stupid. But that's like you say, if it happened on SmackDown,
it never happened.
It never happened. So they, but I think this AJ Styles and Kevin Owens feud, play it right without Jericho, it can be a really good, because AJ can put on a good match, and we know no matter who Owens goes in with, he'll put on a good match, because Owens did that last week. You know,
well, see, they got a history together. They're not going to mention it on Raw, of course, but Kevin Steen and AJ Styles, they wrestled on the Indies together. They've had some pretty good matches in the past, so they're kind of used to each other. I'll tell you another one. Seth Rollins, he had a match with AJ Styles on the Indies way back, and they had a pretty good match. I'll kill to see that match, AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins, when Rollins comes back, but Rollins will be a babyface probably. Yeah. But that'd be another good one. Yeah, man, because they could do some stuff with AJ Styles, because it's not a bunch of rematches. I mean, yeah, they had matches in the past, but that, you know, we haven't seen it in WWE yet, and it's years later. But because all you see on Raw and pay-per-views is fucking rematches, you know. People that's already fought each other somewhere in the past somewhere, except for Shane and Undertaker. They haven't fought. And I think that's why Brock Lesnar and Dean Ambrose is appealing to us, because they haven't really had a match before one-on-one.
Right.
And Triple H and Roman Reigns, I don't think they've had a match, but I really don't care. I'd rather see Triple H and Seth Rollins or something, but I don't give a fuck about that match. You know, I do. I want to see it just out of curiosity, because I know it's going to be a good, quote, crowd, you know, and it's going to be shitting all over it. So I look forward to seeing that. But
just have
they should. They got Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and The Rock appearing at this year's WrestleMania. Right. I would be plugging that more if I was WWE. Now, granted, WWE don't know what they're going to do with them yet, but they can always say, hey, by the way, HBK, Rock, Austin's going to be at Mania. They did plug The Rock a couple of weeks ago. They showed a little highlight, not a highlight, but like a video. Right. You know, it was just The Rock. It said, he's going to be at WrestleMania. We're like, okay. Kind of like that guest host thing they had a few years ago. That's what it feels like to me. But they should keep reminding us of that. You know, hey, we got these guys showing up.
I know, man. It's
always. Dude, all you got to do is get in the ring and maybe have Cena come out there too as an appearance. And oh wow, and they could play musical chairs. That's all they got to do.
That's true.
A musical chairs segment between them. You know, that'd be hilarious seeing Stone Cold play musical chairs, because that'd just be, I could just see it now. You know, serve me a beer, and he pull out the chair from under The Rock. It'd be funny.
But you know, those podcasters are going to have a field day with that that night after it went off, because you know that's going to be the very first thing they talk about when it comes to wrapping up a wrestling show or an event, is what the stupidest thing happened. And that to me would qualify as one of the stupidest things though that I would ever see on it. But you know, I mean, I'm looking forward to these guys, and like you said, you know, maybe these are feud ending that they're having, and I'm looking forward to them. They're just feud ending, you know, matches, because they keep going on. But like the AJ Styles and Kevin Owens, going back to that, they can have a few good matches together and put on matches. That's why I like seeing Owens and Styles. So that one's going to be the one. But, you know, in their match, though, you know, you end up AJ Styles, Jericho went out there, and AJ Styles, Owens rolled him up for the pin, the cheap roll-up. And one question I ask you, have you noticed all these roll-up pins the last 2-3 months at WWE, not just either by the tights, but just rolling them up in general? I mean, why?
The roll-up finish, because Solid Monster one year, he was doing how many roll-ups can we calculate in a year? And he had like 50 or 60 roll-up finishes. But yeah, dude, that's very common and very poor booking on WWE's part. I was on WWE's YouTube channel the other day. I was watching some of their WWE Elite super action figure superstars, toys you can buy, where they got the action figures wrestling in the ring. And man, that was so much more entertaining than Raw, quite frankly. It was pretty intense. They had Seth Rollins versus Elite action figure Macho Man Randy Savage. And them two, man, they had the sound effects, and that shit was awesome. Because when I was a kid, I used to love action figures. I used to buy action figures all the time when I was a little guy, and I would play fight with them. And it took me back to them good old innocent days, play fighting with my action figures. And man, I don't know, it was some YouTube guy that edited the video, but he did a good job, dude. They went through the tables, and Macho Man missed with the elbow, and Seth Rollins did his kick, and man, that shit was awesome. I mean, I clicked on it by accident because I didn't want to watch that shit, and I was like, well, hell, this is pretty cool. And they had Joey Styles doing commentary, and he did his quote, "Oh my God" thing in it. It was awesome. They should release more matches like that. Hell, that was more interesting than the fucking main event. It was, dude.
Yeah, that tells you that's how bad it is, though.
You got to see that shit, man. That Macho Man and Seth Rollins, because it was to a T, man. What a real match would be like between them. And Seth Rollins acting all cocky in the ring and stuff. Macho Man said, "Oh yeah," and he did a fucking DDT'd his ass out of nowhere, tornado DDT out of nowhere. Then he missed the elbow, and Seth Rollins got up. It was awesome.
Oh, by the way, side note, did you like them Seth Rollins laugh compilation I sent over to you?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I thought it was funny, man. I was like, because we had talked about that night the night before, and I happened to find it, and I was like, I got to send these to him because they're all his laughs all together there. We can get those laughs in, but I thought they were so funny. But yeah, I like Rollins. I'll be glad when he comes back because at least
me too.
Good mic work and he can wrestle in the ring. You know.
Yeah, him and Kevin Owens, man. That's the ones I like nowadays. You know, like 10 years from now, and I look back, I'll say it was Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. Of course, they'll probably be the main event guys by then. They'd be the Cena and Orton by then. But reminder, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do a WrestleMania post show, a massive post show. I don't know if we're going to have any more people on here or not, but we're going to do a really good WrestleMania post show coming up. And we ain't going to make no promises, but we'll probably do a WrestleMania predictions show next week sometime. And but you still get your regular Raw review and news next week, but you might also get prediction show, and then you're going to get the WrestleMania post show.
Right.
So a lot of stuff to look forward to if you keep up with us. And we try to do a better job than Jeff Meacham over there at No DQ. Because he did talk wrestling with some guy on Google, man. It was terrible. I was listening to it.
It was coast to coast, right?
Yeah. I watched it. It was all right. But, man, Aaron Riff, he needs to do the auto fix, man. When you edit a video, just auto fix it. Because Hangouts is terrible quality in audio. But if you auto fix it, it turns out a lot better.
Dude.
And so they did that video bareback, man, coast to coast. It was him and some jerk. If you look at the likes and dislikes, it's got 40 dislikes and 45 likes as of right now.
Because he's like, oh, my wife just hit me in the head with a French fry.
Oh, yeah, you saw it, yeah. I mean, auto fix it, man.
It was horrible, man. He's like, are we ready to start? Yeah. Are we ready? Okay. All right, I'm getting ready. Yeah. Hold up a minute. What? Ow, what? My wife just hit me in the head with a fry. I'm like, what? And you're posting.
I was like, what is this garbage, man? I was playing on my tablet as I drift off to sleep land that night. Cause I was just wanting something to watch, man. And because I keep up with all the wrestling YouTube channel. If I'm not watching politics and bullshit, I'll watch wrestling stuff like Walk Culture Wrestling. They do some pretty good stuff over there. And yeah, man, the only good thing about that hangout was the title belt conversation at the beginning of it, because I'm just a big fan of the Eagle belt. That's my favorite too, the Eagle belt in WWF, and the big gold belt from WCW.
Yeah,
those are my two favorites right there, the Eagle belt and the big gold belt from WCW, because they just, you just don't get no better than that. And the Attitude Era belt, I weren't really feeling the Attitude Era belt, and I believe that's the same title belt that carried over to SmackDown when they had the brand split. And Brock Lesnar was a WWE champion, and Kurt Angle was WWE champion. I think that's the same.
I thought that was the undisputed title that they put together with Jericho and was it Jericho?
Yeah, but it always looked like you're right. But it always looked like an Intercontinental belt to me.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like it too much.
Yeah, and then you had Cena come out with a spinner belt. He changed. I was like, man, come on. But
my people glad to see that belt go.
Yeah.
But
the belt now, it just looks like a new age or futuristic belt or something. It's better though. It's better than the undisputed belt, I guess. But the undisputed belt was good. It was just too small. It just felt like a mid-carder belt. But nothing beats the Eagle belt, in my opinion. That's the belt I grew up on too. And I always loved the Eagle belt. That was Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, and before that was Hulk Hogan right there at the end of it. It was cool. That was a cool belt. And I hate when they changed it, man. But WCW, I always thought WCW had the best looking belt with the big gold belt.
I love that was my belt.
Yeah, I like when Triple H had it when that was the Raw champion and it was the World Heavyweight title. I was like, well, I'm glad they got the right belt on Raw at least. Because when WWE first bought WCW, I was like, man, they got to do something with that WCW title. They got to keep it, do something with it, the World Heavyweight title. And Eric Bischoff brought it to Raw, and he handed it to Triple H. I said, at least it's got a place now. It's going to be headlined and all that.
And that's why they have to add to it, man. No matter what, WWE can create any kind of belt they want to. When they do secondary belts but it always turns out with the big gold one always coming back because it's always popular. I mean, they make money off of it. When you see a lot of them in the crowd, you've seen a lot of them with the big gold belt, the fans and stuff. They used to do that with the big gold belt.
Yeah, it was one of the most popular belts, man. You just can't top that one. Everybody likes I got the big gold belt, the toy version, the Walmart version in my room. You remember that? You hit me over the head with it. Or,
yeah. That's the first video we ever did, man. That was back in what,
08? Yeah. I couldn't get the Eagle belt. They weren't selling that one. But now they sell them though, the vintage WWE titles. I was watching the action figure set just for the match. And I was like, well, hell, these toys are kind of cool. And they got the retro titles back out there. If I had money to flush down the toilet, man, I'd probably get into the Elite action series set.
Oh, yeah.
I would get some of them things. Them things are cool. And title belt, replica belts, and like Jeff Meacham has. That's kind of toys I always wanted. I just couldn't really pay that much money into a toy like that. But.
Here's what I wonder, dude. I was watching on Up, Up, Down, Down, and I noticed that Miz, when he was betting Xavier Woods and Street Fighter for his WWE Intercontinental belt, the white one, he said it was at home screwed in on his wall. I wonder if when they get those titles, do they get one at home for real, like a trophy to keep and use one?
Yeah, I think so, because The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, has a showcase of his titles in his house.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
I was wondering if they get to keep, that belt, because he had the U.S. title and he had the Intercontinental title at that time screwed in with plates on his wall where he had it up there in his trophy room. And he had that as something like, well, they must let him keep one as a copy and use the original, or let them have original, make another one for that, because they can make a belt. But
I remember they gave away the World Heavyweight title to the football team. They're giving the titles away and stuff. But back in the day, they didn't do that, because back in the day, you had to mail your title back to the company, as in Ric Flair's case. When he was the real world's champion, he brought it to WWF, and over there WCW is like, come on, man, mail us the belt back.
They had to buy that belt. Ric Flair, in fact, designed that belt, because the old NWA belt, WCW belt, wasn't like that. It was a totally different belt. But when Ric Flair came in, Ric Flair personally.
Oh, hold on. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking WCW because it's the 15-year anniversary of WWF purchasing WCW. So this is going to be our WCW segment here. 15-year anniversary. Yeah. Got true WCW fanboy right here, and Bill Mack.
They did them wrong, man. They did them wrong.
Grew up watching the alternative.
Yeah, that was it, man. That was it. Back in watching it in the Superstation. That was the channel. But no, they said what happened was Ric Flair made that belt custom, the big gold belt. And what happened was when he went over to WWE as the real world champion, they bought the belt from Ric Flair and brought it back to WCW, and that was then their official belt. That gold belt wasn't WCW to begin with. They just bought it from Ric Flair, and he ended up sending it back over to WCW, and that's how come you seen him then when they went on to wrestle, because he done sold the belt to him, so they had to carry the belt back over and get it in. But original the NWA WCW title, it wasn't the big gold belt. They just happened. That's what they used it after Ric Flair had personalized that one, which me, like you said, the big eagle was yours. That big gold was mine. I love that big gold, because back when Aaron Rodgers won the Super Bowl, he had the WCW, it was WWE World Heavyweight title, but he had the big gold belt. That's why now when you see like LeBron James, when he bought the world champions or something, he bought them all world belts. It was the WWE belt, not the big gold, because they don't sell the big gold anymore. But that was just a little tidbit there that Ric Flair actually designed that belt, and WCW bought it so they could keep it over in WCW with them. So Ric Flair basically got paid for making that belt for them. But it was a beautiful belt. I love it, man. Hey, what was it?
Yeah, because I always said about WCW, that was one of the first things that got me into it. Well, I was like, man, they got an awesome belt. WCW's got the best belt, man. But the Eagle's just my favorite. And
it's a nice belt. I mean,
it is, man. It looks like a championship, as the big gold belt does too. But Yeah, I first discovered WCW. I'm gonna show you some cards here. I got these out of I think Walmart back in the day. My camera's smoky, man. I try to fix it and everything, but so bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. Here's my WCW card set that I got a long time ago. This is when I discovered WCW. Yeah, so we got let's see. Hello. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll switching the camera back over to me. Oh. You got well, you can't see this shit. Let's see. We got Terry Taylor.
Yeah, the Red Rooster.
Right. Jim Ross got his own car. I said, that's Lex Luger. I said, oh, I see what they're doing. As a commentator. That's 493 before he went WCW.
Yeah,
before he went WWE, and he was wearing that toga. You know, that's before the toga at WrestleMania 9. But yeah, so you got your
who's at his interview in Lex Luger?
Yeah. I was like, that's a Lex Luger card. I said, oh, I see what they done. Okay. I'll do this very quickly here. Let me see. Oh yeah. So I got who's that? Steiner Brothers.
Oh yeah, Rick and Scott.
Sting card. Got Sting. The Lex Express, or the Narcissist, Bullet B. I mean Lex Luger, and then we got Ric Flair, because it's got to be fair to Flair. We got the Freebirds over here. That's some good shit. This is how I discovered WCW. I was in Walmart. I said, "Oh shit, a wrestling trade card set." And I opened it up. It was WCW. I said, "Oh, that's where they go when they leave WWE. That's where they go to." But yeah, I haven't heard of the Z-Man. You know the Z-Man?
That's the Stro, I believe.
Oh, okay.
The Stro. That's who he used to be back then.
Yeah. All right. So the Z-Man, another Sting card, and another Steiner brother card here. But yeah, man, just my play card set here. I
used to have those cards a long time ago. I don't know where I got them no more, but all I got like hell is baseball, basketball, hockey, and my comic cards.
I used to buy baseball cards, hockey, all that stuff. I still got them too. I got some more WCW cards as well. I used to collect all kinds of cards back then. Baseball, all that stuff. Football. Yes. Mostly baseball and wrestling, because I was really into card collecting back then. And, you know, I still enjoy that stuff. But, yeah, that's what I hated about WWF, because you couldn't buy the WWF merchandise in Walmart and shit, but you could with WCW. Right. As well as MLB cards and stuff like that. Because the NWO Wolfpack T-shirts, and NWO Black and White, I remember buying those at a Walmart. People be like, "Well, I thought you weren't a WCW fan." I'm like, "No, I like WCW. WWF, they want to sell their shirts for $30 at WWFshop.com. They want to rip you off, man." I said, "At least WCW sell the shit in Walmart for you." Kmart, it was awesome. You know?
Yeah, man. But let's see. We'll get back to Raw real quick, because there ain't much else to go here on Raw. Ziggler's music comes out. Ziggler comes out and interrupts after the Kevin Owens match, says he deserves it. Then comes out, music comes out, Miz comes out. He says he deserves it. Then Sami Zayn comes out. Then he wants to fight Owens. And then the Miz comes out and starts talking, calling him skinny Seth Rogen. and Owens says none of them deserve a chance to walk out, so he walks out. And then it says he tells him he's going to go to the Authority, and then he shows up talking to Stephanie in her office. But Dean Ambrose ends up coming up, and he says he's not sure what's inside Lesnar, but deep down inside himself, he probably quit. And he said that he reached down and smeared all over Lesnar's face, and that Lesnar doesn't have what it takes to beat him at WrestleMania, which is a weird thing for Ambrose to say. He said that Terry Funk, that's when Terry Funk comes out there and gives him Chainsaw Charlie, as he likes to call him.
Yeah. It says that was his WWF gimmick name back in the 90s.
When him and Foley was together. But,
here comes Chainsaw Charlie. He's got a long history in wrestling. That's what Jim Ross. I said, really? I never heard of Chainsaw Charlie.
Yeah,
that's Terry Funk. Oh, okay.
he was in OECW too. You know he was tough then.
But Jim Ross was trying to call out his credentials on commentary when Chainsaw Charlie made his debut on Raw. He's like, Chainsaw Charlie, he's got a long history, and he was trying to give him credentials and stuff. And I think Vince on the microphone said, in his earpiece said, "Hey, that's not Terry Funk. That's Chainsaw Charlie." Jim Ross quickly changed what he was saying. He's like, "Well, here's Chainsaw Charlie." You know.
Well, he ends up cutting the table in half, and he fires it, and he cuts the table in half and goes off. Stephanie Owens comes in there blabbing about his match, of course, and and then it shows up Shane coming that all he's done and whatnot, and they're talking about how lethal the Undertaker is, bunch of blah 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 promos. Then New Day comes up, and it's funny because they get a couple of guys to work behind the scenes to do a booty popping at work, which is so funny. And after the commercial, then the League of Urination comes out, and they're talking about facing New Day at WrestleMania, which a lot of them are saying that League of Urination may end up winning the titles on this. But
I don't see that with Wade Barrett leaving WWE shortly. But I mean, you could be right, but I mean, I just saw that as New Day winning. I don't know. Well,
that's just stuff they're hearing and they're recycling around. So you like you said, you can always take that with a grain of salt. But then we see all of a sudden you hear Big E come out and New Day comes out and they're wearing their Bootio shirts.
Yep.
And New Day is talking about how they don't suck or they never have sucked. And then they talk about League of Nation, and then Xavier Woods has a sign that says the League of Nations is trash and whatnot. And Kofi says he really means it. And congratulations to Kofi Kingston. Kofi is now, and I don't know if you heard it the other day, Kofi now is the longest serving single partner of a tag team champion. So as all the years of tag team champions, Kofi being a tag team champion, a single part of being a tag team champion, Kofi's been the longest. So that's congratulations to him, because I mean I wouldn't have thought of that, but he's been with a lot of tag teams and held the belt. So just hats off to him for being able to have that kind of distinction. But then they end up fighting and whatnot, and Big E says everything can be rectified with a big old box of Bootios.
That's right.
And then of course Philadelphia ain't going along with it, and you can barely hear them saying Bootios, and which sucks. That's why they do. But end up after the bell rings, it's a match, and we see them. They're fighting and whatnot. Big E ends up running in and giving Rusev the big ending for the win. But it was the parts of the match I liked was Big E versus Rusev when they were in their fight with each other, because those were two big dudes going at it. And I mean, there's many times where Rusev was Big E tried to do that splash off the ropes, and then he ended up Rusev would put his knees up or whatnot. But it was a good back and forth match. But I like seeing the big guys sometimes wrestling each other. So good thing that he won. Mr. McMahon, part comes out. Mr. McMahon's going to make an announcement, and they talk about coming up next, and then talks about upcoming Ambrose and Braun Strowman. So we see Bray Wyatt cut a promo on there. He said there's a chance to be born again, and they got another chance, and Luke Harper can't begin one without sacrificing another, and all his weird ones. But they're talking about that, and they showed Andre the Giant. And this is your part, Andre the Giant trophy, and the Big Show's out there smiling and standing just like the trophy next to it, like he did after he won it last year. So that he's on the only two times he's ever stood beside it is the night after he won it, and on Raw is he done that. But he was in the ring, and like you said, he was thanking everybody for all this and that, and the greatest giant in the world was Andre, and he went on to put over Andre the Giant and everything. And then all of a sudden the social outcasts come out there and they start talking smack to him and all, and retired stuff come up, and they all jump on him, and then all of a sudden Kane comes out. Well, then they're all jumping on him, so you figure, hey, Kane's going to come out there because he's the Demon Kane. He's
Right.
a good Kane right now.
He's not casual Kane with the.
He's not casual Kane. He's not unemployed Kane. He's not corporate Kane. He's the regular Demon Kane. Figure he's going to be good. He's the face Demon Kane. Comes out there all of a sudden. They clear the ring and he goes up there and slaps that big choke slam on the Big Show after Big Show's posing on the rope all of a sudden. And like you said, he said, "Big Kane, why Kane? Why?" Yeah, he goes over there.
That was the best part, man.
That was so funny when he said that. Why Kane? Why?
Kane, no. That was the only part of Raw that made me laugh. I was just like, what?
That was funny, man. But you know, that went off and whatnot, and then you know, they showed that the latest WWE inductee, which I thought they were done, but they weren't. Is Stan Delary Hansen, and Stan
he was a tough motherfucker back in the day.
Stan Delary Hansen was basically known a lot in Japan, but I remember watching WCW when he was on WCW wrestling for them, and they would mention his wrestling Japan career because back then
he was a tough motherfucker.
Japan had a good wrestling relationship because you used to all the time see Sting and Luger and Flair go over to Japan and fight. And, you know, or they would come, the Japanese guys would come over here and fight. So they give big ups to him. You know, he's one of the old school. He used to wear that big old chew in his mouth, and he had that cowbell and stuff in his hand with the chaps on with the black hat on and the vest on.
Yeah, I know, man. He spit right in the camera. He said, if I live in modern times, I would vote for Trump. No, I'm just Trump supporter.
He got it, which I was surprised, but it's good that he got it. But then next up is the match you pointed out earlier, Fandango against Chris Jericho. It's a blast from the past match when Fandango first came in. He ended up beating Jericho, and I remember that match, and I know you did too. But as it happens this time, you know, it kind of ended up different. Jericho ended up winning by giving Fandango the code breaker. And AJ Styles outside yelling, "Y2 jackass." And I don't know if the crowd were saying too much, and they obviously weren't. They were trying to get the crowd to say "Y2 jackass," and then those two were facing off against each other and whatnot. But they show up next. It's a triple threat between Zayn, The Miz, and Dolph. Did you see any of that match at all? Because I sure didn't. But Owens, you know, it was just no match everybody really wanted to see. I didn't really want to see it. You know, ended up Zack Ryder going out there, and they're all talking about the Intercontinental title. Stardust and Sin Cara and Zack Ryder, they're out there, and you know, Zayn, I think Ryder's, everybody gets involved in the match, and it gets eventually thrown out. So there you go, folks. You got two matches like that worth nothing. They end up getting thrown out. And then it shows Stephanie on the phone, and she's worried to Roman Reigns and all that. And then he's like, 6 people were after me, da-da-da, you know, it shouldn't even be fine, da-da-da. Then it says Stephanie, it says here that Stephanie walks to the garage area, and she kisses her husband as she gets into the car, and the garage door opens. And Roman Reigns is staring directly into where they were going out. And it says that he walks over from there and opens up the passenger door, which is unlocked. Now, I figure that now, the passenger door would be unlocked. He pulls Triple H out of the car and punches him for a bit. And Triple H gives one right hand, jumps in the car, and they drive off. And the crowd boos when they show a close-up of Roman Reigns. So what you think that's going to be? I mean, of course, they're going to boo him, but let him beat up on Triple H a little bit more. Wow, that's really going to be, you know, that's really going to put the crowd over for Roman even more.
Cena 2.0.
No matter what. No matter what. But another Divas match, if you had to go to the bathroom, then was the time to do it because
that's what I just did, so I'm sorry.
I'm glad you did because Natalya fought Charlotte. Charlotte ends up getting the win again. Of course, we knew that was going to happen. And then they're talking about how the Dudleys are going to face the Usos and R-Truth against Bubba Ray with Devon, which I kind of don't get why they would have a match. But anyway, you know Bubba Ray's going to win that. And then up next is the big announcement. Vince McMahon comes out. No chance. That's what you got comes on. And he comes out to a weak reaction, which is just saying nobody hardly cheered for him. And, you know, he was expecting to get a bigger one, but yet again, it's Philly, folks. You're not going to get
people got accustomed to seeing him every week now. It's not, you know, it's a big deal when he comes out there once a month or something, but when he's out there every week, people get immune to it. But let's wrap up. Let's wrap up, Bill. I got to go to bed here very soon. And
okay, man. But it's just the stipulation for the Undertaker's.
We talked about that at the start of the show.
Yeah,
you know, but they shouldn't have added. They didn't have to add all that. Blah blah blah. You know, if Taker loses, Shane could just hire him back. You know, nothing personal. I'll just reinstate him. Shit, you know, it just don't make any sense. But yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I don't have any Lucha Underground news, ladies and gentlemen. But I've been watching season 1, and everybody that watches it gives it a 10 out of 10 review. So if you want a good alternative, check out Lucha Underground. So I'm just giving it a quick plug. If you watch TNA and you want to watch a good TNA recap, check out Bill Mack's channel because he does a TNA wrap up every week.
That's right.
And other than that, folks, we got to wrap up here. But I don't know if Bill Mack's got the Raw ratings this week.
Real quick. I'm gonna take a second. Last week's. There was another drop again. Last night's Raw drew a 3.4, and it's down 2% from last. It was 3.4 million. Numbers down 2 and 7% between last week's 3.458, and we're the lowest since the January 11th Raw, which they were out. So it was number 2 channel overnight. Get this. The show that beat them was the Love and Hip Hop on VH1. They beat Raw last night. So what does that tell you?
Wow. Yeah, it's WrestleMania season 2, man.
You wanted to Love and Hip Hop. That's a TV show. And that beat Raw. And Raw's always the number 1 cable show on TV.
I know. I hate to go through this downtime in WWE. You know,
better to pick.
I feel sorry for kids watching WWE nowadays. Mm-hmm. It's because they're growing up in the WWE sucks decade, sucks era, and people like us, we grew up when it was good, and now we're going through a downtime. You know, and new fans are like, "Man, we're in the downtime." It's like, "Yep, enjoy it." You know,
true.
Things have got to change. It's just crazy, you know, how that shit's going down. Kind of reminds me of WCW 2000, but hell, even that was, you know, arguably better at times. You know, that quick booking, last minute booking.
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing. Creative's bad. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, look forward to WrestleMania prediction show, and we're going to do a major post show, as well as the WWE RAW review and news. We're going to do that as well. And check out Bill Mack's channel for TNA wrap-ups every week.
Every week.
That's pretty much it, man. Like and subscribe if you want to, if you like it. If you don't like it, do it anyway. 100 subscribers. You know?
Woo!
Shit. All right. Y'all take care.
Later.